Good evening. You are watching BTV and I am Remy Sholton. I'm your guide through this evening's entertainment. Now, generally we would talk about one topic for an episode, but we thought we'd mess it up a little bit and try a few different things. So let's go straight to the first one, and I'll see you after this.
Good evening, you're with Malice, and we are talking to Dr. Camille Nurkar this evening, who is going to be telling us all things labia / vulva / vagina, because she's involved in a very, very interesting study. Welcome, Camille.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Anytime. So we're sort of talking about your study, which is to do with labiaplasty and genital satisfaction.
Yep. Yep.
And I was thinking, I'm fairly happy with the look of mine, I'd have to say. I don't know what you want to talk about, if you're happy with the look of yours, Camille. But I'm happy with the look of mine, but apparently a lot of women aren't. So, would you like to sort of talk about what the project is first? It's a survey, predominantly.
Yeah, so the project is called Vulva Talk.
Yes,
and
good.
We're recruiting people through Facebook, of course, because social networking is
the way to go.
How things operate in today's society,
sure.
and really useful for researchers such as myself. And we are gauging women's attitudes to their genitals. So sensitive kind of area, but the survey is completely anonymous, so all survey responses will be anonymous. We won't be able to identify you. And the reason why we're doing this survey is because it's actually a joint survey between the University of Melbourne and ANU, Centre for Mental Health Research.
Sure.
So there's two of us conducting this research, and the reason that we're doing it is because of this apparent rise in female genital cosmetic surgery that we've been hearing about, in the media over the past 5-10 years or so.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm curious to know how women work out that they need this surgery. Is it like the flapping sound that they hear when they're walking, or is it like they need to move their lips out of the way when they sit down? Or so the why this is kind of very interesting to me. And we also should talk about the specifics of the surgeries involved that you're kind of looking at.
Okay, so in the literature, the medical literature, which is not very large because it is such a new kind of surgery, it hasn't been around for that long, so the medical literature is fairly slight. But from what we know that women are going to cosmetic and plastic surgeons and saying, look, the primary reason that they want, say, labiaplasty done, which is labiaplasty is cutting or excising the inner labia, so the labia minora. Yeah. So women are going to surgeons wanting that done because they're saying they don't like the look of it. It's too big. They feel that it's ugly. Yeah. That's one reason. Another reason is that they feel like it's uncomfortable. So they feel that their labia are so large that they get caught in their jeans and interfere when they're riding bicycles and so on.
So that is, I was being flippant, but apparently, that is a thing.
Well, women are saying this, they're telling their cosmetic and plastic surgeons this. And another reason is... interference with sexual pleasure. So the word for that, the sort of medical terminology for that is dyspareunia. So
not just lips getting in the way then?
Yes, lips getting in the way. That's what women are saying, that their lips are getting in the way of their sexual pleasure. So those are the main reasons. Now, in terms of the different types of female genital cosmetic surgery that's available to women. There's labiaplasty, which, as I said,
shaving a bit off the lips.
Shaving a bit off the lips. I think that's the most common form that women are asking for. They can also plump up the outer lips or siphon fat out of the outer lips. Plus there's what's known as vaginal rejuvenation, which is...
now this is the thing that I might be interested in. Yes.
And actually you're part of the demographic
Yeah.
that would be most likely to want that particular surgery.
Women
so
who've had the children?
women who have had children, yes.
Sure. Yeah.
So some of the literature sort of suggests that younger women are probably more likely to go for the labiaplasty, and older women who have had children are more likely to go for the tightening procedure, where I think what they do is they take fat from other parts of your body and then inject it into your vaginal
Oh, this is sounding
canal.
better and better. I'm thinking they could take a little bit off my muffin top and inject it into the old veg, right? And we should have sort of perhaps spelled out what the difference between vulva, labia, vaginas is for perhaps the men and the uninitiated, or women that are not that, kind of familiar with their own bodies. So you were talking about the labia; those are the lips.
Yeah.
And the vulva is kind of the whole area.
Well, look, the technical definition, and this is interesting because originally we wanted to call the project Vagina Talk, but we realised that we sort of had to be technical about it. So the technical term for the outer parts of the vagina, the external parts, is the vulva, and of which the labia is part of the vulva, and the vagina is the sort of internal.
The Satan's cave. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, we were talking earlier and I just called mine, it's all a lady garden, isn't it? Yeah.
Lady
okay,
garden.
and you were also talking about non-medical C-sections?
Yes. So along with this apparent rise in female genital cosmetic surgery, we've also been hearing stories about women who perhaps might be seeking caesarean section births because they may be a bit worried about what giving birth vaginally might do to the appearance and function of their genitals.
Yeah, it's funny, I'm kind of looking around at all our camera guys and they're all men, and I can see there's a little bit of uncomfortable nature going on with such talk of the labs, etc. Just an aside there. So we were talking about maybe why women are doing this, and you raised a little bit of that. And some of the theories are, feminist research suggests it has to do with the rise in porn, and I was kind of on board with that theory because I've read that at least a third of porn users now are women, and one of the other theories is about the waxing. The waxing gone mad. We can see a whole lot more of the labia now.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, and in the porn, that's rife. It's in your face. Because I say I'm quite happy with mine, but that's because I don't have to look at it. I don't have to look it in the face all the time. But if you are checking out a bit of porn, which I can happily admit to, it's just there.
Well, the porn thesis is completely rational. Like, where else are you going to see images of vaginas or vulvas, I probably should say, other than in porn, where as you say, it's in your face. Yeah. And also there is the practice in soft porn publishing to airbrush out the inner lips, but of course, the porn producers who produce soft porn are actually saying, well, it's not our fault that we have to airbrush it. Actually, it's to do with government regulations.
Oh.
And they're saying that it's all about ratings board restrictions.
Not.
So that if they show the labia, that knocks them up into the XXX rating, which means that they can't be soft porn anymore, you see. So there is that suggestion that soft porn and the airbrushing out of the labia may have something to do with it. But see, the porn thesis is fascinating because we're not sure what to think about it, and we won't know whether it's influencing women's thinking about their genitals until our results come in. But the interesting thing about porn is that there's so much variety in porn, and so you've actually got now you have internet heaps of internet porn, and a lot of that is amateur porn. There's an awful lot of amateur porn out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so my feeling is there's probably, along with that amateur porn, an awful lot of genital variety.
Yeah.
So, you know, thinking about the veracity of that porn thesis is going to be a really fascinating part of the research, because we do have questions in the survey that ask women about their porn consumption. You know, do you watch porn? How often? And so then that will enable us to correlate those answers with the questions on genital satisfaction.
Yeah, and I wonder, of course, if partners have something to do with it as well.
Yeah, and that's been raised in the literature too. So there is some suggestion that, you know, there is some evidence in the literature that a small proportion of women seeking labiaplasty procedures are saying that they are there and visiting their cosmetic surgeon because a partner has said something negative about them.
Yeah.
But actually, I think from memory in the literature, most women are seeking it because they're saying they're seeking it for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a really interesting question, which which may be indirectly addressed in the survey, but we're hoping in future for our next survey to ask partners of women. So we're looking at about how they feel about women's genitals. So we'll be asking heterosexual men and lesbian and bisexual women about that.
Great. That sounds like an interesting follow-up.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. Spent a lot of time in the editing room doing that one we did. Now, don't forget that we also have a website, which is www.benttv.org.au, and you can see clips up there, so you can have a look at that. You can even comment on the clips on the YouTube page as well, and we also have a Facebook. So do interact with us and let us know what's going on. Anyway, it's time for a break. I'm getting wound up, so I'll see you soon after these messages. Welcome back. Well, I hope you've had a nice cup of tea and a bit of a relax. We're ready for our second segment, and let's see what we've got ready for you. Now, I will remind you that if you wanted to become a volunteer, you can sign up by, the form is on benttv.org.au, and we're always looking for new people, not necessarily always production, also admin. If you've got a few hours and you feel like being involved, do come on down. But let's go to something now that's more entertaining than me, and I'll be back in a second.
Now, you mentioned medical lit then. The literature talks about surgical reduction being recommended for labia that are deemed too large or asymmetrical. Who says it's too large, and what's the guideline on that? Okay,
so, yeah, the medical term for it is hypertrophy,
yes.
Which means that, too large.
Large lips.
Large lips, and it also refers to asymmetrical lips. So, women now have access, I guess you could say, to this sort of diagnostic tool.
Yes, the internet.
Yes, the internet is also can also act as a diagnostic tool, especially now that you can look up. You can get online, right, and you can see before and after photos of labiaplasties. So, in a sense, those before and after photos, and the after photos are all astoundingly very similar. In fact, if you look at the after photos, they always show a vulva that with the lips pretty much completely hidden. And that is what the labiaplasty procedures always end up looking like. So it's really standardised, the shape of the vulva.
How dull. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's we'll see.
Can't
we'll
make
see
any judgments on that.
Yeah, well, that's right. That's being a bit too judgy, isn't it? But what's the like the centimetres you were talking about? How many centimetres?
Oh yes. So the diagnosis of hypertrophy, a lot of the in the medical literature, you can see that most surgeons are saying around 4 to 5 centimetres from base to tip is and over. Is about is the
average.
The the average sort of diagnosis for hypertrophy.
Okay.
But they also say they take care to say that, well, this is just a kind of a guideline measure, but actually we really need to take into account, what's more important to take into account is the way women themselves feel about their labia. So
okay, so that's their out, really, isn't it? So they're saying, if you've come to me and you don't fit into that criteria, but you still want it done, I'm going to do it because, that's
so in
what
a
my
sense,
job is.
there's a contradiction there between, well, we've got this kind of measurement that we're going to use, but at the same time, we think it's psychological. And I just don't think you can have your cake and eat it too in that respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
okay, it was very, very interesting. So you not really sure what you're going to find at the end with the data?
This is exploratory research, so we're trying to go into it without expectations. I mean, what we really want to do is test the veracity of previous, feminist theses around this, like the porn thesis or the media thesis, are certain images or the wax does the rise in waxing practices have any influence on women's propensity to get cosmetic surgery? So these are the questions we want to answer, but we have no preconceptions about what we're going to find because this is completely exploratory. So, and many of the questions in the survey are quite open-ended. So we're asking just for women to sort of talk to us, really, and give us their opinion.
Excellent. So do you want to tell us where women can go to be involved in the survey?
Yes. Facebook is the first port of call, I would say. So Vulva Talk, the Vulva Talk page, which is facebook.com/Vulva Talk.
So that's VULVATALK, just in case you don't know how to spell vulva, I guess.
And at the Facebook page, there's a link on there, and you can click the link and it will take you to the survey page.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to hearing the results of the survey, Dr. Camille Nurka, and also the follow-up survey from the partners will be very interesting. And I wish you the very best of luck with it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's time for a break. I'm getting wound up, so I'll see you soon after these messages. Welcome back. Well, I hope you were entertained by some of those sponsorship messages. And speaking of sponsorship, we do need some funds to get studio time, keep equipment maintained, make sure I don't fall off this chair. So if you'd like to become a member of BTV, just go to www.bentv.org.au and you can find a membership form there. Now, let's go to something both entertaining and informative, and then I'll see you back here to wrap up.
Hey Ruby, how are ya?
Good, Jack.
So, did you hear, Max is having a party tonight at his house or something? His parents are out of town. So I thought maybe, if it's cool, we could, I don't know, we could just go together or something, maybe?
You and me together?
Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I just meant a ride or something, but I guess I'll see you there.
Maybe. Later.
Excuse me, Mrs. Carter, is Mr. Marks in? Mrs. Carter? What was that? Did you hear that?
I heard you, Alex. I am in the middle of something.
Oh my God, I think people have been shot in the quad. I was at my locker and I could hear screams, and then I looked up to see people running all over the place.
Probably just an end-of-year prank in very poor taste. Still, we do have to take these things seriously. Quick! In here! Get under the desk. Stay away from the windows. Do not move. I'll come back and get you.
I thought things like this only happen in America. And if it was a prank, like, I would have known about it. So, it can't be a prank. Can't believe this. I'll have to be stuck here with you. What are you even doing outside the library?
Shouldn't be hiding out with you. They always shoot the cool kids.
Well, it's usually the weird, quiet ones that do the shooting. Oh my God. It's real. It's totally real. I'm gonna die. Can't believe this. I mean, it shouldn't even be me. This is totally unfair. I shouldn't even be here. I can't take this anymore. I won't. That's it. I'm out of here.
I see you. You know. You're popular, but none of those people really know you. Don't you get tired of pretending all the time?
Girls, are you in here? It's safe to come out. It was just a prank. This is going to cost the school a fortune.
Don't you dare tell anyone about this, or I'll kill you.
No one will believe me anyway.
Welcome back. Well, that is basically it for tonight. We have been entertained, informed, we've been outside, we've been inside, we've been everywhere. And next week we've got something else that's exciting and in store for you. So please come back next week for our spring season. Thank you.